Hey, everybody. Coming up on today's podcast, seems that GM is going to recall nearly 600,000 Chevrolets, Cadillacs, GMC trucks. Hang on to see if you're one of those folks. Also, hey, GoPro. They're taking it next level. If you own a motorcycle, you're going to want to listen to us about this new product that they have coming out. Hey, GM is also going to unveil some new EV battery tech. And we got some news on Pete Rose. For those of you who are fans of Charlie Hustle, we've got some great news about him. Nissan looks like they're about to scrap their EV battery plant. The new Toyota RAV4 2026 has just been revealed. We're going to talk about that. And there is an interesting electric pickup known as Slate that is available to you guys. We're going to get into that and much, much more. All of that coming up right after this, guys. Hey, everybody, welcome into the podcast. Podcast 171 with your host, Jay, and my good friend and also co-host, Keith. Keith, how's it going, my friend? Welcome back.
Yes, hello, everyone. This is, for those of you just joining, this is my podcast voice. I've got a voice for podcasting.
It almost sounds like the gal from Laugh-In, or
yeah,
what was her name? Sat in the big, huge rocking chair.
Gilda?
No, not Gilda.
Oh, yeah. I know who you mean. Yeah. I can't. She passed away not too long ago.
She was in 9 to 5 with Dolly and
no. Lily Tomlin?
Lily Tomlin.
Yeah. She did not pass away recently.
Okay,
I
good.
was thinking of somebody else. Yeah, I'm here.
It's good
hey,
enough,
so housekeeping, get this out of the way quickly. For those of you joining us for the first time, welcome in. This is the Counter Show. You can find, if you are listening to this, you can find our video side over on YouTube at youtube.com/Parts Counter Gurus. There's a video podcast version as well as all kinds of cool channel content. This in particular is a show about pop culture as it pertains to, I guess, gearheads, classic automobile stuff.
Mobility.
Yeah, mobility. There you go. Right?
I mean, not just wheels, man. I mean, we talk rockets and, balloons and beer.
Now, if I make it through the show without knocking this over, it'll be a small miracle. Jay's over there stressing right now.
No stress.
Open container.
No stress. Hey, can I plug something real quick?
Yeah, go.
Guess where I just
All right, we're out of time. Thanks, everybody, for...
Guess where I just came back from?
Mars?
No. Brazil.
It's the same difference.
Yeah. Rio do Sol, man. I went to see.
Right.
Yeah, I went to see our good friends Race-A-Lon down in Rio do Sol, Santa Catarina.
So they, the music that you heard on the way in on the intro, that is them.
Yes.
RHASALON. For those of you that are going to go Google them and want to hear their music, which I would describe as metal.
Yeah, definitely metal. It's Brazil is heavy into metal. Pardon that pun, but they are.
Is it Brazilian metal?
Yeah, I guess you could call it that for sure. But anyway, Leonardo.
Yeah, moving on.
Leonardo, Vico, Greason, Adamir, and their new drummer. Oh, he's gonna kill me, man. Oh, I apologize, dude. We really didn't get to talk to him that much, but great drummer. Rodrigo. Maybe. Anyway, he had some interesting conversations with us about his take on metal and stuff. It's pretty cool. Great guy. And what was really nice is when we were there, obviously you guys know I have a day job, so was traveling in the area for that, and I reached out to my buds and they were kind enough to give us a tour of their city. We were able to get up into the cathedral as a tour up into the towers, man, where the bell towers are at. It was pretty crazy. This thing was built in They started building it in 1949, I think 47, and finished in 59. And everything about it, all of the wall coverings, like they call it stucco, right?
Right.
The brick and everything, they had to basically flatten out a mountain or a hill, a good sized hill, to build the cathedral. And in the process, they utilized all of the soil and material and created bricks, mortar, and stucco for it. So basically, they tore down a mountain and built a cathedral out of the same earth, which was pretty cool. Thought it was a great story. The other thing too is that they hosted us at their house and barbecued for us, and at the studio. And
nice.
They did an 8-song set for us, which is basically a rehearsal. And they've got quite a few new songs coming out. In fact, Leonardo and I were trading some lyrics back and forth. He and I are collabing on a song right now, so hopefully that'll be upcoming on one of their new releases. So, but those guys are awesome. I cannot thank you guys enough for the hospitality, as well as being a big fan of ours. We appreciate it. I also was finally able to meet Fernanda, Leonardo's goddaughter, who I gave English lessons for a while.
All right.
Which was pretty cool.
So she's going to talk like
she's going to talk like a Parts County guru.
Like Ricky Bobby.
Talk like an Egyptian.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
But anyway, yeah, so I wanted to plug that in and give Ray Salon, the guys a big hand.
That was me. Sorry.
Hey.
Woo, echo up in here.
Echo up in there. Yep. Oh, man, you know who died?
Hang on. Before we get to that, I don't have most of my sound effects board today.
You better get that thick going, man.
Well, I could make it. I could make it work, but you're going to get that echo. So
it's okay.
Yeah. Anyway, who died?
George Wendt.
Norm. And I don't have I'm looking at the Cheers theme song right here, but I don't have I could.
Yeah, Norm. 76 years old.
Yeah. Also, but I think of him as Spanky Ham from Toy Story, right?
Yeah.
Pretty sure that was him.
I think it was his voice. Yeah, he lent his voice to that. That's pretty cool. Sad day for anybody who was a fan of his, and obviously any of his family. But gosh, what a great actor, and what a part of pop
culture.
Pop culture he became. I wanted to say Pulp Fiction, but he will forever be cemented in pop culture because of Cheers. What a great show, so along with the rest of the gang. But anyway, rest in peace, George. We'll miss you, man, but we'll keep laughing at your reruns. So.
Yeah, just one. I was going to say one of the last great sitcoms. There were several after it. There hasn't been anything that in the past 5 years, anything that measures up.
Not
to
in the
that.
last 5 years, but I think during those time frames, you had Cheers, you had Seinfeld.
Did you say Cheers? Did you say Cheers?
I did. Do you have your button muted?
You have your button muted?
I just had to do it one time. All right. All right, I'm muted now.
Okay, I got you. So
I'll have that fixed for the next show, everybody.
Oh wow, man! Really?
What?
Okay, no.
Yeah, you're not gonna.
There's like new Gremlins every show, man. It's the craziest thing.
Yeah, and I know why it's happening.
Is it because we're just not sticking to what we do? We're just changing stuff.
I added an extra microphone to the mix.
Oh, is that what it is? And
so we'll get to that in a minute. Okay. So.
Hey, you're doing this on my time, man?
Yeah. So, am I muted?
I hear you.
Okay, I'm muted. Now,
do you have your external speakers on?
I turned them off. Couple other business items from the previous podcast episode. So we mentioned, number one, that you were gonna start watching Paradise. I'm pleased to report to everyone that before we hit record, I said, "Hey Jay, you start watching Paradise yet?" And he went, "Huh?"
Yeah, I got nothing going on in my life.
So, but you got it. It's worth it, dude. The minute you start watching this, you're gonna call me up and be like, "Holy!" And yeah.
Okay, and remind everyone that's listening out there excluding me because I
But
know.
mostly
but remind
you.
everybody out there
Right.
what platform might
Yeah,
this be
well,
streaming
except
on?
for Jay, and I can mute you so that you don't
I
hear
won't
me.
hear it. No spoiler.
It's on Hulu. If you have the Disney package,
I'm good.
it's part of it,
That's fine.
and it's paradise, just like Another Day in Paradise,
Yeah,
right?
Okay, that's cool.
The
Cool.
other thing that we mentioned then and forgot to do, and I see it over there. Okay, so before we get into this,
Oh, that.
I am testing out a new webcam because the one that I've used for the past few years, it's not doing very well in low lighting, and it's older. It's time for a new webcam. So I've got my old Logitech Brio right here, and then I've got this is one of the reasons that I've got two laptops, Jay. I've got like two turntables and a microphone.
Ooh.
Yeah. So now I gotta. All right. Anyway, I got the new Brio MX, which is a 4K webcam sitting right here. That's supposed to do really well in low lighting. So there'll be a full video review.
It actually looks pretty good in comparison to your other.
Which is hot garbage.
Right.
Yeah. But this is also a newer Mac, and so we'll take the native recorded
Has that got
file.
the chip in it? Is that the new chip?
Yeah, it's
that you were totally opposed to, and you let me buy this piece of crap.
Well, these are older. All right, anyway.
So I have an iMac that has the chip in it, and I prefer the chip because it's so much more faster.
Some things. Yeah.
All things for me. Not for you because I'm not a gamer.
So, all right. So one of the okay. You guys can watch the full review on this. We do reviews on stuff that Jay's done microphones. Jay's got a car review that's about to come out, but we get into tech too.
Got some camping stuff with Intrepid Camp Gear coming out too, right?
So this will be up, and I'll give you a full comparison on some of the other webcams, and you can use that for your own benefit. And we'll put a link on there where you can get it. Now, this has what's called a show mode. Okay,
yeah, that's pretty cool.
And when you tip it down, you take the camera and you tip it down. It's made to just like this. You're on a show and you want to show people something on a flat surface. So one of the last podcasts I brought up, you know where I'm going with this now, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Gotcha. So I gave Jay some whiskey glasses, bourbon glasses for Christmas. And I went, Jay, did you spin them yet? And Jay's like, huh? And so the idea with these is you put it on a table. And do you want to do it? You want me to do it?
Spin it. You got it over there?
Yeah, well, you do it. You do it, and I'll do and so let's see if I can get this on camera. But it's supposed to just aerate your hooch, your whiskey.
Spin it.
Yeah.
I think it's just a spinning.
Just a little fidget spinner for your whiskey, right?
Yeah, so what it has on this thing, turn it upside down here real quick, Keith. Has a bit of a nipple right there, if you will, a little raised, a convex, if you will. It's not concave. Explanation: concave, convex. Convex is anyway. We won't get into geometry right now. Anyway, that right there is raised just slightly, so that the sides will be almost flat, and it's just slightly raised. So it with the inertia of the spin, it never touches the sides. So it really spins very well, even loaded, and it does not spill at all.
It's kind of a fun little
It is.
You're sitting there spinning your glass, right?
Well, I think, for you and I, why that's important when you're drinking a good, sipping on a good bourbon, you want to kind of aerate a little bit and get it to breathe, and it's pretty nice. So,
True that.
True that. But anyway, so thanks for that Christmas gift, man. And I'm sorry it took so long to.
It's all right.
Well, it's May, right?
Well,
we're just not
been busy,
about
but
it. I've been busy.
Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel, and you'll get all this content. And tell back to this for a second.
Yeah,
if you enjoy the podcast, tell everybody about it. If you're finding this on YouTube, you can find all of our podcast links over on our website at partscounterguru.com. And
every single one.
I think it's called Podcast Links.
It is podcast links. Yep.
And
within that, you've got also the show specials is what we call show specials. That tab will take you over to every one of our brand partners. And there is a long list of them. And you will see out beside the link, we give you also the exclusive promotion codes, discount codes, if there are any with that. And they work on everything. Like, for example, if you go to Race Ramps, you use our code, I think it might be Guru 15 or something to that effect. I don't have it right in front of me, but yeah, you just if you throw $1,000 worth of product in there, you're going to get 15% off. Doesn't matter. That's a significant savings on 1,000. 15% off of $1,000 is pretty significant. So there you go.
I mean, I'm no mathlete, but yeah.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. I mean, it's good stuff.
Might be like $150.
Right. Why do I feel like I'm on a Saturday Night Live Christmas special?
Right.
Talking to Alec Baldwin about his sweaty balls.
Pete Sweaty.
Sweaty balls.
All right. So what are we doing? What are we doing
first?
What are we doing?
Well, let's talk about the recall that's out there real quick.
Okay.
All right. So
I'm going to try to put this up on screen, so we'll see how this goes.
Yeah, do your best, man. I'll roll with it here. But Motor Trend has revealed, and of course everybody out there in the automotive industry has revealed this, but nearly 600,000 Chevrolets, Cadillacs, and GMC trucks and SUVs with a 6.2-liter V8 are under recall, and that's a pretty big deal. It's not fun having to deal with this, but they're taking it head on. The issue.
Oh yeah, tell me why, Jay. Why?
Right. So the issue is GM 6.2-liter, which is the RPO L87. That's their actual platform. You know, for example, LS1. This is a L87 6.2-liter. It's a V8, and it's in most of their full-size trucks and SUVs. And this particular recall covers those vehicles with that engine from 2021 to 2024. Now, hear me out. That is up to this point under the current investigation. I would sit still, and if you just bought a new one in 2025, you might want to kind of hang on and see if there's not a recall that is associated with that. But there's nearly 600 vehicles that are unsold and on dealer lots that must remain there, they're saying, until the recall fix arrives. So the problem with it is to be related to two manufacturing defects that severely damage or outright destroy the engine. One of the defects allows sediment to contaminate the connecting rods and crankshaft oil galleries and destroy rod bearings. Oh, it's not so good. The other is simply a crankshaft with surface defects and out of specification dimensions. And let me remind everybody, during COVID, what problem did we have? As we all told you guys during production.
I hate to say I told you so.
I got that one.
Yep. During production, most OEMs, original equipment manufacturers, do receive product from their suppliers, and they're in groups of A, B, C, D, E supplier, whatever. And they receive the product in what we call the just-in-time manner. Okay, why that makes sense to manufacturers is because they don't want to inventory a bunch of product for two reasons. It's cost, as well as it takes up a bunch of room. And so during COVID, it's kind of really put a panic on everybody out there in the manufacturing. And so you had to resort to different suppliers through the chain. And I do believe that this is probably where this is going to be heading down. And I don't have the specific insight yet, but inferior materials, potentially, probably some processes that were not quite right with some of these BC suppliers. And here's what GM is saying. Unfortunately, the only way to know an engine is affected is when the engine begins making wrong types of loud noises. That is not good. The check engine light comes on and or engine performance degrades, including to the point of no start condition with a check engine light popping on, right?
All right, so I got some things to say about this.
Say it.
So I got this highlighted here. The fix, as of now, fixing the issue will require dealers to inspect and either repair damaged rod and crank components, which you already mentioned, or replace the entire 6.2-liter V8. They're going to do an inspection. If there's nothing wrong with your engine, if they do the inspection and they don't find a problem, it says here, those that do happen to pass these inspections will be provided with a higher viscosity oil. This will require dealers to install a new oil cap with the new viscosity requirement replace the oil filter, and insert a notice in the owner's manual about the new oil viscosity.
Yeah.
That's kind of bullshit, man.
I don't disagree with that. I think it's, again, them putting the onus on the consumer to do
just put some thicker oil in it for you and slap it on the ass and send it on down the road.
Yep.
What?
Yep.
Like, that engine was not designed for that oil.
There's more to it than that. That's a Band-Aid. I'm telling you right now, that's a Band-Aid. Here's what I say to anybody out there. If they're not replacing the engine itself, this means they're going to go in and internally work on the engine and put it back together.
Yeah.
Can I say something?
Sure.
Look out.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm telling you, I know what I know. This is not good. For me, I'm trading. I'm getting rid of it.
Do you think we'll what's your prediction here? Will we hear more from GM?
I think that GM will be involved in a class action lawsuit because of this.
So I'm not choosing sides here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. This is a factual statement.
Yep.
We have talked many times about Ford's mistakes, recalls, issues with their production.
Right.
And the thing that has impressed me over the past 4 or 5 years is it feels to me like every single time Ford has taken the high road and they've gone out of their way to make it right. Would you agree with that?
100%.
This also feels to me, since you brought up convex and conversely, this feels to me like GM is trying to get away with doing as little as possible.
Of course they are.
And literally on the biggest single most important component of your entire automobile.
Absolutely.
The thing that makes it go.
Absolutely.
I mean, that's just not.
Yeah, it's not cool. This is really not cool. I mean, the bottom line, let's in sort of a parallel world here that we're having with these manufacturers who are number one in the fleet truck sales. Ford and GM have always been kind of head to head on that.
Sure.
But what did Ford do when the Bronco started just breaking valves when it first came out? They replaced the engines.
Yeah, they told the owners to stop driving them.
Yep.
And then they offered to replace the engine.
Correct.
And we talked about that, and I think we even said it's not the first time. Like, I had a 97 F-150 that the lifter started to clatter on, and back then they replaced the engine.
Yes. In my opinion, it is the safest bet and the most convenient for the consumer.
Yeah.
From a satisfaction guaranteed, if you will.
Right.
Is to replace the engine with the updated components or whatever it took.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, it's not just the oil. They know this. They know that the additional viscosity is going to help prolong.
Sure, it's a Band-Aid,
It's
right?
a Band-Aid,
Yeah.
is all it is. Yes. And look, man, I'm in this world and I get it. For example, in the natural gas world, certain engines are not built to run in those environments, so you have to create components that will survive. Valve train, for example. Valve train really takes a hit in natural gas applications. So when we have people come to us and say, hey, can you develop something new for this? I'm like, sure we can, but what is your ultimate goal here? Well, we want something that's gonna last.
Right.
I said, well, let me school you on something real quick here. It is not a matter of if the component is going to fail, because it will, but it's a matter of when. So you have to understand you can prolong the life by throwing things at it. I love it. By throwing things at it,
This is school rock music for Jay.
You can make it more robust, if you will, but you're never going to get away from the fact that these components do wear over time. And that is the same way with this engine. What's going on with this thing? You can't throw oil in it and expect the problem to go away.
So I feel like GM has gotten a bad case of what's going around lately, which is the good enough mentality.
Mm-hmm.
This goes all the way back to I read a fantastic article yesterday. So the job market's a little tough right now. Like, have you been seeing all the, like, I'm a software engineer and have been out of work for a year and I've applied to 150 jobs and can't get a callback kind of things, right? Like, there's a lot of that going around, right?
I have, yeah.
And so I read this article from a longtime recruiting firm that basically said they are hiring the safe bet. They are going after people that have Apple on the resume, have Amazon on the resume, have Google on the resume, right?
Exactly, yes.
Because it's the same reason that a casting director can't get fired for giving Nicolas Cage the role, right?
Right.
Like, Con Air sucked. Like, okay,
horrible.
there's so many bad movies this guy has done. He's done some good ones, okay? But in general, he's done, if this were baseball, he would not be putting up the numbers to be a reliable hitter.
Very
right?
true. Very true.
But you're not going to fire him because they're always going to point back to the couple good, well, he was great in The Rock or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And so it's like, well, how, Raising Arizona, or what was the one with Elizabeth Shue that was pretty great? Leaving Las Vegas.
Leaving Las Vegas or Raising Arizona. We said Raising Arizona, Leaving Las Vegas.
Yeah.
He's
done some great ones, right?
Movies,
but then he's had some real turds,
terrible,
man.
Yeah, absolutely. Golly, I can't even believe you mentioned that one. Did that even score on Rotten Tomatoes?
God only knows. It's the same thing in the job market. It is good enough. I'm going to play it safe, and I won't get fired. If somebody at GM goes out and suggests this radical, expensive strategy to fix this, they're putting their neck on the line, right? And I think we're in this era. That's not going to happen.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting because when we started this podcast many years ago, we were looking at topics of discussion and how, we talked about brands, right? How do these manufacturers survive? And loyalty, brand loyalty is one of those things, Oh, I'm a Ford guy. I've got 5 generations in my family. We've been driving Fords since they came out, since the 1900s, You get that, right?
Yep.
But I don't hear that anymore. I just don't hear it anymore. I hear a lot of complaints about any of the manufacturers out there anymore.
I still see, I'm on the forums because I've got a Ford truck, and I'm on. There's still some loyalists.
Yeah,
I don't. Jay's social media. We're taking what's up, everybody? He's a couple snapshots, a couple selfies.
Hey, we got a malfunction in the door back there.
The door behind me blew open.
It did.
I'll get it. You're gonna have to pull the wagon for a second.
I need a drink.
Okay, so you can still hear me, right? I mean, your ears without your headphones still working?
Yeah.
I might have to translate for you. It's like me having a conversation with me playing you. I feel like we're at this spot where you still have some loyalists, but you're not gonna have the bulk of them like you talked about. I think Hyundai has cut into that a little bit. I think Toyota's cut into that a little bit. But they're still. I think your work crew, my Ram truck guys and your F-150 guys and your Silverado guys. I think on the truck side you still have a lot of that. I think it's the automotive on the passenger cars and crossovers that you don't see as much of it. Jay's dropping ice all over the floor. Would you agree with that? Jay says he completely agrees with that. So I don't know. I mean, what happens in 10 years, when GM completely loses all brand loyalty and they have to be the low cost, they're marketing 100% of it's Chevy Traverse type vehicles, right? It's who can make the cheapest version. And they may come out okay with that because they do have a strategy in place that we're going to talk about in a minute for a next gen EV. So I don't know, maybe this is a shift and to be frank, maybe they just don't give a shit about quality anymore. Maybe they're completely shifting their focus to let's just, buy now, right? Back to that documentary.
Yeah, well, I think that's the case. And thank you for covering me while I was closing the hatch.
My arm's tired.
The hatch door there. The bottom line is, man, I think that we've been talking about this on this podcast, the shift in how the OEMs are conducting business, are saving their consumer base, how they're handling themselves, all of that ties into that brand loyalty thing that we were talking about.
Right.
It weighs heavy on everyone. I am a firm believer that you have to, and no matter what the circumstances is, what they are, what it is, you have to step up to the plate and take care of it head on. If you do not, you're ruining your reputation, period. I'm a firm believer in that.
I mean, it remains to be seen, I think, how much of a factor that reputation is.
Mm.
You know, I mean,
True.
People are starting to figure out how to game Google reviews, right? Like,
This is insane.
get the bad ones taken down, right?
Yeah.
So if you
Yeah.
go look up somebody's reputation on Google, all you're going to see is the good ones that they want you to see.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Well, I will say that there, no matter what, you're also the Google reviews. You're also seeing bogus Google reviews from competition.
yeah. Well, and Google does have a procedure in place to call that out, and you can potentially, but yeah.
Well, AI is doing a great job
You're right.
of finding that, right? Yeah, they have such a human touch.
So if GM does go down the road of being the low cost provider, especially in the EV space, they're going to have to compete with not just the Teslas of the world, but now we've got like Slate, right?
And
so
BYD, Slate, Rivian.
which
Yeah.
my son loves BYD. So
I think the window for GM to really get in and be a big player is gone.
you think?
I absolutely 100% believe. I think what's going to help GM survive is their technological advances in power generation or power storage, and that would be in the form of their Ultium and
that's happening right
newer
now.
platforms, and we'll get into that a little bit.
In fact, we'll get into that on this podcast in a few minutes.
Because I think, and just like when my son was going to college and trying to figure out what he wanted to be in life, and he talked, definitely wanted to get into computer design, and initially it was hardware, and we talked about it, and I'm like, I don't know, man. I think software is the way to go because it's going to continuously change. There's no stopping to it. I mean, the world is your oyster because everybody's trying to build a better mousetrap with software, right? So that's what he got into, and it's worked out very well for him, and I'm so glad of that. But this is kind of where I think the battle that GM has chosen to compete at the consumer level, I don't think is the win for them. I think that their battle to compete is on technology. Let's face it. I mean, GM may not be the GM that we all grew up with in 10 years.
Yeah.
They may be that.
They won't be.
They may be the supplier to the rest of the EV world on battery technology or some other technology. And I think that they're going to have to shift into that in order to make it. I don't know, but I know the losses that they have have had over the last several years, the lack of sales, in my opinion, the lack of introduction of newer EV models on that platform. I mean, they've got a few, but they certainly didn't come out with guns ablazes, man.
Yeah.
Guns ablazing. I thought they were. I mean, but they have, obviously what's paying the bills are the Chevy trucks, and they're not taking care of the people on those with what we just talked about, this recall.
Right.
I mean, so what are you gonna do, GM? That's the question.
Yeah. We'll see. We'll see.
Right?
This is the part of the program I always wanted to do, the CEO for a day. Like, how would you fix it?
I know how I would fix it.
All right. How would you fix it?
I would do exactly what I said.
Okay.
Is I would recall the vehicles and I would replace all the engines and put engines in it that had the durable components, the correct components in it that will not wear at such a low rate, low mileage and low usage.
And you have to be willing to tell the shareholders to kiss your ass, though, right? Like,
absolutely,
we did this for the long game, right?
And guarantee you that because we're doing this, we're going to gain some loyalty, and we're going to get some customers back in our buildings. And the thing is that if you really look at this in reality, is that it's much easier to swap an engine than it is to rebuild an engine. Okay,
yeah,
so much more easy. You're setting yourself up for failure because it takes people in an environment to go through the checks and balances when they're building those engines.
Yeah, that's not a single bay, single mechanic. I mean, you can have one mechanic do most of the work, one tech.
Environment.
He's got to have people help him with a lot of the different steps in that.
But here's the thing: is what a lot of people don't realize is that when GM has these, or any manufacturer has these sorts of recalls, and it involves rebuilding engines, GM is not physically doing it themselves.
Sure,
they are contracting this stuff out.
Yeah,
and they're crossing their fingers that the people that they have contracts with are going to do what they're supposed to do. And I mean, you're at risk there. You put yourself at risk for another failure down the road if someone didn't do what they were doing. I'm just speaking from experience. I've seen this happen so many times in the past. I wish GM the best. I hope that this works for them. But I'm telling you, man, if you've got debris and oil at a high rate, at low mileage, and you're throwing a higher viscosity oil in there to combat the problem,
right?
I get it and I understand the concept, but that's not fixing the problem. You're not fixing the problem, period. So until it remains to be seen until they come right out and tell us exactly what the problem is, which I feel I know what it is, and I said it already. COVID has really come back and bitten them in the ass in this situation. I think that they have utilized components that were inferior, and when you're talking crank bearings, cam bearings, bearings, period, that are failing at a high rate. Something's not right, especially when you've been building engine components for all these years and you've got it down to a science. Something changed. Something changed. Just saying. Something to think about, guys. So anyway, we're going to move on here. We're going to move to the next subject matter here, and it involves action. Lights.
Okay.
Camera.
What?
Vroom, 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 vroom. Helmet.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Helmet.
All right. Yeah. Okay. Sure.
This is your baby, man, because I think this is cool as hell. So I am anxious to see where they take this. I know it has to start somewhere. So what I'm talking about, guys, GoPro is going next level. And it's actually about time they did do something, because what they're doing with their cameras by themselves, the way they've become like an Apple or a smartphone supplier, where next year we're going to offer a new model, but guess what? Everything on it doesn't match up with what we just sold you last year. So you can't utilize anything. So you're stuck with a model for 3 or 4 years until it wears out. Then you go get another one. So there's no cross pollination of the components.
And that's somewhat by design.
Oh, of course
right?
it is. Of course it is. You got to have returning customers, man. Yep.
Planned obsolescence, right? So it's a smart motorcycle helmet that GoPro is partnering with, let's see, who is it? It's Foresight. They're an Australian company.
Foresight. Yeah.
Okay. And they let's see. I think GoPro acquired Foresight, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. So GoPro wanted to do this a long time ago, from what I understand.
Yeah, right.
They've been trying it out, right? So in remarks to the company's 2025 Q1 earnings, I should say, GoPro CEO Nicholas Woodman announced that the action camera maker has officially partnered with a well-respected motorcycle helmet manufacturer, AGV, to jointly develop its new tech-enabled motorcycle helmets. Foresight, I think, was part of the original design back in the day. And I think they're still involved with this thing from where I understood it. But the partnership is actually between GoPro and AGV.
Okay. Got it. Okay. So, I mean, they're no dummies. Like, they know that a good percentage of their product, I'm talking about GoPro, is used by motorcycle people. I being one of them, right? Have helmets. And a lot of people have dash cams in their automobiles now, right? Well, what's the solution for that on a motorcycle? This.
Exactly, man.
And so they're working on an embedded camera in a helmet, fully one piece, which honestly was only a matter of time. And good for them for being the innovators for once.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, they were the original action camera innovators, so it's good to see them get their mojo back and not just be kind of this year's slightly upgraded version, right? So, helmet manufacturers have played around with the audio, the microphones and the kind of comms that you can get from helmet to helmet with your buddies when you're riding in a group.
Mm-hmm.
This is the next step, right? Add a camera to it.
Right.
So
yeah.
I'm excited to see this. Like, I feel like this could be a very good use of GoPro's technology.
Yes, and it's like the virtual reality headsets and stuff, right?
Right.
The goggles and stuff. How originally it was, you have the goggles, but you had to be, you had to have a computer to utilize the goggles. They work through, I think, Bluetooth.
Yep.
But now you have like the Meta headsets are all inclusive, all in one. So the computer's basically built into the headset.
Right.
So you don't have to buy all these components. You just buy the package deal. It's Wi-Fi ready. You just go, you just turn it on and you go, man. It's great, right?
Yep.
So this is what I think that they're trying to achieve with this is just throw the helmet on. Hit a button and away you go. Unlike the standard GoPro or action cameras where you have to have a mount, specific types of mounts. Where do I mount it? Is it too heavy for my head? Those sorts of things. I think that what this does is it allows the user to just have that almost feel like I have no worries other than just I'm going on this ride.
Yep.
And so I think in that sense, you're going to get a more organic feel to the footage that you're going to see. Wouldn't you agree with that?
Yeah, just don't forget to charge your helmet.
This is true.
Right? I mean, that's, yeah.
Well, my assumption is they've got that well thought out and you've got ample battery packs to be in.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the things that GoPros have natively always suffered from is really short.
Well, maybe they put solar panels on the top of the helmet.
Now they need to hire us to, think through some of this.
Are we going to be their marketing team?
Maybe.
Yeah. We've asked them for that before and we've yet to receive anything.
Yeah.
But we've bought a lot of GoPro stuff, so there you go.
Yeah.
I mean, hey, GoPro, if you're listening to us right now, we've bought a lot of stuff and we talk a lot about you. And in fact, we use a lot of your stuff. You should help us out. We'd like to be a brand partner with you, GoPro. I'd love to have a test helmet so I can wear it on the next episode of Jackass.
All right.
But don't you know? But look, man, you got to know that some idiot is gonna put that on during an orgy or something. Right?
We will see.
Yeah.
And I'm sure we'll be on here talking about it if that happens.
Yeah. There's probably going to be some dude in a mosh pit somewhere, man.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Or, I don't even want to give people ideas at this point.
Oh, God. Oh, geez.
All right. So, moving on. Slate. Is that next? Where's it's going to be?
We can go with Slate.
It's about to be next.
Yeah, let's go with Slate. Right. Which one? The first one?
Let's do the Slate. Let's do all the Slate stuff, and then we'll slide back into the competitor stuff.
Yeah. Let's get a clean slate here. Okay.
So
can you help me with?
There you go.
Little rim shot. Nothing but the tip.
So I'm going to try to do a screen share on these. I downloaded the media assets from Slate.
That's cool. Very good.
This is a Jeff Bezos backed.
Wait a minute. The Jeff Bezos?
Like the Amazon guy.
Isn't he the one with the penis-shaped rocket?
That's that same Jeff, yes.
Wow.
Yep.
The Captain Kirk went up in? Didn't Captain Kirk?
I think you're right. Yeah.
And wasn't there recently another flight that went up with all women?
Yeah, it was like the Katy Perry rocket.
Katy Perry and what's her name? Gail King off of CBS Mornings. I like Gail. She's a sweetheart.
You lost me, but yeah.
Well, you don't know Gail?
I don't watch that much TV.
Well, she's CBS Mornings. She's a great reporter and she's a great personality. Anyway, I'm good for her.
You sound like a huge fan, Jay. I mean, is there anything else?
I don't know that you call me a huge fan, but I just think she's really good at what she does.
Okay.
So,
all right.
Just saying.
All right.
And she's funny. So
fair.
I get a kick out of her.
Okay. Clearly. I mean, do we need to spend a little bit more time on this or do you
No, man. So anyway, back to Bezos'
all right.
Slate.
Yeah, okay.
You getting this thing up? Or
Well, it's okay. Yeah.
You having trouble?
No, I got.
All right. So we built it. You make it. And that's the motto for Slate, a new American electric vehicle company, which was just revealed. And they just revealed it. The launch and model is backed by ex-Amazon executive, including reportedly Jeff Bezos' family office.
Jeff Bezos. I mean Bezos.
Bezos.
Yeah.
Bezos.
It is ironically only available in Slate. So the whole premise of this is blue collar EV.
Yeah, it's a bare bone vehicle.
So you want a cheap automobile that's electric.
Yep.
And he's, not stupid. They're looking at, marketing metrics, people's, he's got access to all kinds of purchase history from, or had access to that when he was at Amazon.
Right.
And so it's there's a couple interesting things. So $20,000-ish truck, small truck. The other one here on the right, as you're looking on screen, it's basically still a truck. It's just got a camper shell on it, right?
Right.
And so no real tech inside. Doesn't even have power windows. It's got a crank, I think, is what I read, right? So it is EV in the powertrain only, meaning, you're not going to get like assisted driving or any of the huge infotainment screens inside, or even, I don't even think they have like radios in them. I'm not sure.
Is there any reason why what this is like coming across to me as a full-size adult Barbie mobile?
I mean, a little bit,
I mean, okay.
But
what purpose does it serve?
It's for the crowd that wants
a truck.
That wants a truck, that can't afford to spend tons of money on said truck, wants it to be electric, wants it, to be a low cost of maintenance, which EVs clearly have that advantage, right?
Here's the key.
Yeah. Or is there a key?
There isn't one. The exterior parts are composite pieces. You know what that does? It makes it easier to make.
Yeah, they're lighter, cheaper.
It makes it easier to make. And
less safe.
Yes. And it also avoids Trump's tariffs on steel and aluminum.
So clever.
Very clever.
They're gonna assemble them in Ohio, I think I saw.
Lordstown.
No, is it? It's not, though.
Is this the new Lordstown?
Yeah, I know.
Have they resorted to this, to making Barbie mobiles?
No, Bezos has got more cash than Lordstown. He's not.
Yeah, he does. He should have bought Lordstown. Maybe they'd have done something
right.
with it.
So, yeah.
Sorry, Lordstown.
Now, I do think there's a certain percentage of people that will go after this, right? It's just it's a throwaway beater truck. Like you need it. Let's say you're a contractor, right? And you just plug that sucker in. You could plug it in at a job site off a generator.
Yeah, you could. You could
charge it up. I mean,
you could, but obviously you're not hauling much payload in this.
Nah, but these contractors aren't. It's not like they're hauling bags of Quikrete. They're putting like it's painters, it's lawn guys, it's handymen.
Yeah.
You're not sold on this, are you? Like
caddies. I mean, is this like a golf cart or something?
There's going to be a percentage of people that are going to go for this.
Oh, of course they will.
Just like the people bought the Ford Maverick,
We've become this now. We just buy things because it's out there and it gets talked about.
Yeah.
And it's, it's cheesy and we want it.
But can you buy it on Amazon?
Oh, yes, you can.
Well, as of now, so technically, no. Yeah. Well, so you're going to be able to. Okay. So there's a modular aspect to this, right? Meaning, you buy the base model. You want to, like that camper shell that we showed. You want to buy any of the add-ons. You want to hop it up. Like the kids do, Jay. You spend $12,000 on a car, and then you spend $25,000 on upgrades, right?
Right.
You get your, you slam it, you bag it, all the things that you would do to a $12,000 shit box,
right?
To make it worth,
right. Exactly, man.
So this is going to appeal to that group too. The guys that like only have, they live week to week, right? Paycheck to paycheck. And they're going to go out and buy all those accessories on Amazon.
Yeah.
It would surprise me if there wasn't a partnership to buy these on Amazon in the near future.
Well, I would agree with that. And again, this is what people are saying. People can't stop talking about the new Slate EV truck starting at $27,000 or less than $20,000 if you qualify for EV incentives.
Okay, now there's an important point on that, and then I have an important point on that. So, friend of mine asked. Well, actually, let me save that. So, the more common version of the batteries going in these EVs is lithium. I think it's lithium iron.
Yeah,
LFP.
It's
lithium iron phosphate.
That would be correct, and F is because of Fe. Fe is the
There you go.
Yeah. Lithium's.
This does not have those lithium iron phosphate cells, which typically are a little lower in cost than what is going in the Slate truck. So the batteries in the Slate truck are, from a cost of replacement, more expensive than a more expensive EV with the lithium phosphate cell. I don't know if I'm going to make it through this with all the different batteries. Yeah, they're putting nickel, manganese, cobalt. Oh, damn it,
manganese.
That. Yeah. So it's NMC batteries.
Yes,
and those are old. That's an older technology.
Yep.
It's nickel based, not lithium based. And why are they doing this? Because there's still tax credits on those.
Absolutely.
So you can buy the truck for less because of the tax break in the United States. And it's your problem when you have to replace those batteries in 3 to 5 years.
Right. And again, it's hey, we don't care. Here's a product.
Shit
for
box.
You. Right.
Yeah.
Go do your thing. Just go do your thing for 3 years and then don't worry.
Yeah.
We won't worry about you.
Now, in 3 years, they may change their battery technology and have a Gen 2 or whatever. We'll see. And then you have to go buy that one.
I think that battery technology is inevitably going to change, obviously, in order for... Look, we went from EVs are coming out and mandating that all gasoline engines are going to be banned by 2035 to, we better hold up because that ain't going to work.
Yeah.
So let's go work on battery technology to make it more affordable. And now the approach to EVs are a little bit more logical, in my opinion, from a manufacturer standpoint. You got to work on the technology. Again, going back to what I was saying about GM earlier, as a company that went in all EV, I don't think they win the EV market. I do think that they win the technology side of the EV market.
Yeah. Sure.
I'm a firm believer in that. I think that's what GM becomes. I mean, let's face it. McDonald's is not a fast food company. They are a real estate company.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Right.
Catch my drift?
Yeah.
So there you go.
So last thing before we slide over to GM's battery tech, a friend of mine said, and it's probably the same mindset that you were just talking about. I just want to go buy my, little toy truck to screw around in because I need one,
Right.
And need being not really, but he's like, what do you think? And I went, man, honestly, I'm not buying any automobile, anything that mobility related that I don't know how I'm going to get service on it. And they have not been, I have yet to see really any details on what the service model for this truck is going to look like.
Yeah.
So if this thing breaks, which a certain percentage of them are going to do.
Right.
And let's not do the same thing that Fisker did. Like, have some sense about it. Plan on you're going to need maintenance on it at some point. This thing going to sit in your driveway for 4 weeks while you're waiting on service? I mean, what's the plan there?
Exactly.
I need to see that.
Right.
What's the service model look like?
Yep.
And that's a big, they probably don't know yet. That's
True.
to be determined.
True. I agree. Well, this will be interesting. We'll see where this goes.
Yeah.
Honestly, the market is not flooded with electric vehicles.
Take it to an Amazon warehouse.
Just take it Take it to your UPS store, man.
All right.
Have the guy come out and scan the thing.
Right.
Man. Here, scan this barcode. I'm leaving it with you, man. And then next day you ride by and you see like 10 slates in the parking lot.
UPS is doing the car dolly thing. The little brown vans start pulling car dollies behind them, and they just tow it back to the warehouse.
Now
right?
that's funny.
Yeah.
That's a good concept right there. That's how you fix a problem.
So, I would need to know before I would spend anything.
I'm with you on that. First of all, I wouldn't need to know because I've looked at it. I would never buy one.
Okay.
I'm just serious. I mean, I can't see me driving one of those things, but I can see some of the practicality behind it.
The amount of dipshittery and think about the video content we could,
I can't wait to
driving it down Broadway.
I can't wait till we see one.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I can't wait to the people on Broadway turn it into some sort of like drunk bar.
Yeah, right.
There'll be a slate drunk bar.
Yeah.
Boy, howdy.
Now you got to make it a limousine. It's got to be like 17 slate trucks all lined up together.
Oh, God.
Yeah, there you
go. With a
go.
hot tub in it.
Yeah, right, yeah.
And a bar.
And
a bartender. And a helipad.
Yeah, okay.
That's right up Kid Rock's alley.
Yeah, right. yeah, there you go, man.
Yeah, Kid Rock. Hey, Kid Rock, if you want to sponsor the show, we'd be glad to have you sponsor the show. Got all the Bud Light you want right back here. Come on board, brother. We got you covered.
His real name's Earl, right? Isn't it Earl? Something like that?
I don't know. Is it?
I think so. I don't know.
I don't care. I really don't care, man.
All right. So GM is working on.
Can I ask you, how do we go from midget trucks to midget rock stars?
I don't know, man.
I'm just saying.
I don't know. It just, it sometimes happens.
Are they vertically challenged, though? Could we be politically correct here with that?
I'm just referring to him as Kid Rock referred to him in the era of that band.
Yeah,
he called him a midget.
He called him a midget.
I'm just. I'm essentially quoting, right? Keeping myself out of this. Okay.
Yeah.
Moving on. It's getting awkward in here.
Microwave compatible. That would be So
before we get all right. Anyway, before we get like DDoSed by I'm not even. This is
okay. This is going off the rails here. All right, so let's get to GM's new
battery tech.
Battery tech, yes, and unlike what you were just talking about. It's a different type of bet.
Yeah, right. So definitely hedging a lot of bets in this direction. Nothing new. They said years ago they said they were going to do this. We weren't sure if they were going to be able to pull off the R&D to do it.
But they did.
But it looks like they did.
What were we saying? I think that GM's going to win the EV technology battle, not necessarily the sales.
Well, they had to, right? Because what else have they got? If they don't, they've downsized everything, right?
Everything.
All right. So they, in their words, GM is calling this groundbreaking technology. We will see, right? Let us be the judge of that.
Mm-hmm.
But they have a new battery chemistry, and this is lithium manganese rich prismatic battery cells. So they're going with LMR.
Right.
And these are big boy batteries.
Yes. Be using such vehicles as the Silverado EV and the Escalade IQ beginning in 2028, they say. And I wonder if the Ultium platform has been their flagship for a while now.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to assume that at that facility, they've probably been working behind the scenes on this.
And they're going to probably keep the Ultium brand. They're just going to call it like Ultium Plus or
Ultium Plus, Ultium LER.
Max Air Pro.
Yeah, Max Air Pro.
So couple advantages. And really when I read their press release on this, I felt like this was, if you think about power tools, the first generation of cordless paddles, boy. Hey, everybody on a podcast.
Row your boat.
I remember having NiCad batteries in some early power drills, cordless drills.
Yep.
And then they went to nickel metal.
Right.
And that was kind of Gen 2. And those were heavy.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
And so, but they had less of a memory effect.
Correct.
Because the original generation, you had to drain them all the way down before you charged them or it would ruin the batteries.
Correct. cycles.
And then we went to lithium, which got lighter, and they had to spend a little bit of time working out the lithium couldn't deliver the torque in a lot of cases that they needed. They figured that out. I'm comparing this to those battery technologies and power tools in the sense that this is probably going to be that kind of a leap in your automobile battery type. Longer range, lower cost. The minerals in the battery are more readily prevalent on Earth. You don't have to destroy third world countries and dig mines underneath of schools to whatever. I don't. But yeah, so more readily available, lower cost. And they're saying, I think I saw it's 5 years out, 4 years out. And
they're saying 2028 they'll have them in.
Okay.
In some of the models, 2027, 2028, that's the target. And I think the technology's been there. This technology has actually been there. So from what I understood, it's not new, just as electric vehicles are not new. It's just that we are farther along in the technology, which gives us the opportunity to refine that and make it better with the technology that we have. And so that's what GM has been doing, is they've been using this technology and refining it and getting it to a point to where, oh, wow, this thing is just awesome.
What is GM really good at? Supply chain.
Supply chain, yeah.
What are they not good at? And this is not a slam, inventing batteries. Right?
Yeah.
They partnered with, I think it was LG. To do their Ultium battery plant.
Mm-hmm.
So GM brings their supply chain knowledge. LG brings their power cell knowledge. And now GM solves that source problem of how do we get these batteries, into a supply chain?
Yeah.
How do we make it cost effective for production?
Right.
And that's what they know how to do.
Yeah, and that's where GM's Ultium Cells, which is their brand, and LG Energy Solutions did join together in this venture to start the commercial production of LMR prismatic cells in the U.S. by 2028. I think they said pre-production is expected to begin at an LG Energy Solution facility by late 2027. So there you go.
So here's the thing that nobody is saying that I want to know. And I'm going on record because this audio clip may come back to haunt somebody. I want to know what these things weigh. What is the weight difference in these prismatic cells, these LMR cells, compared to the lithium counterparts?
Yeah, that's a good question. Because you got most of the other batteries
making it heavier.
Yeah, but the other ones are cylindrical style cells.
Yep.
Versus these are square, which I believe it allows them to stack more.
Yep, and they get more volumetric use out of the actual, because you got the corners, right?
Correct. Absolutely.
It's like an Airstream RV versus a regular RV. You lose all that cabinet space because it's round, right?
Right.
So, but how much weight is this going to add? Because that can be an absolute. EVs are already crazy heavy. They're adding over the gasoline counterparts. They're adding sometimes 1,000, 1,500 pounds more.
Correct.
What's this going to do? Right. There's going to be a point where you're going to have to rebuild your whole powertrain
100%.
into a heavy duty vehicle.
100%. Yeah. This is going to be interesting. I again, technology advancements in the EV world are again exponentially growing. GM's next step into this is this. And again, I hope they sell the hell out of this technology to even further advance us in electric vehicles. Keith and I have told everybody out there, in fact, I'm in the automotive industry and, I'm all about the internal combustion engine, always have been. I don't think you'll ever see its need go completely away, but I do think that you'll see the need for electric vehicles, to come more into play. Now, I'd say over the last 5 years, it's been more of an option, if you will.
Yeah.
And in some cases, not a very practical option. But I do believe that as more and more people flock to bigger metropolitan areas, just like, say, in LA or Chicago or New York City, where it's hard to find parking places, et cetera, where you don't necessarily commute long distances, but you're commuting shorter distances.
Right.
This is where an electric vehicle comes into play, and it's really good. And I think that if metro areas will incentivize that for people, you'll start to see more of those things sell. Hey, maybe Bezos will sell more of the slates.
Well,
right?
and this is going to be an interesting. So this particular use case for the GM batteries, it's not going to be the slate crowd. It's going to be the I want power windows and a nice infotainment system with a giant display screen in my vehicle, but I want to be able to get it for 45 or 50K or 55K versus the Rivian 100K or Lucid, or even some of the Teslas are getting up there now, right? So it's going to be more of the middle crowd that wants the conveniences, but also an EV, and that's where GM is poised to potentially be dominant. So it could work. It could work.
I think so. I agree with you, and good for GM on staying the course in that realm, because certainly nobody else is, as far as their counterparts in the U.S. Guys, feel free to attack me on that if you want to. I really don't care, because I know what I'm talking about. But GM really is the only of the big three that are push. Ford's in it. They're dabbling in it with the F-150 Lightning, the all-electric Mustang, Mach-E, and a few others out there. But look, Toyota's winning the battle and have proven the point that hybrids are definitely the way to the market, in my opinion, if you want to reduce emissions and having more of a to the bottom line effect on net zero emissions over a period of time. I believe that from $1 to emissions, contribution, the hybrid vehicle is definitely the winner right now, as I can see it. It makes more sense to me.
Yep.
So, which, by the way, I haven't talked about this yet. Maybe we'll bring it up on the next podcast. I was talking to my son. He owns a Chevrolet Volt.
Yeah.
Right. And of course, they discontinued that.
Right.
But I am hearing through the grapevine a little chatter that the Volt may come back.
Yeah. I mean, who would be shocked? Would anybody be shocked if that happened?
I think it was a really good vehicle, man.
Yeah.
My son enjoys it. He really enjoys driving.
They lost the range battle to a couple people that had more experience in that, right?
Yeah.
And
I had a guy say to me the other day, we were talking pickup trucks, big pickup trucks. He's like, "Well, I'm not buying one of them big F-250s, man. That gas mileage ain't nothing." I said, "Good point. I've made that point before. That's a purpose vehicle. If you're buying it for the gas mileage, you're buying it for the wrong thing. You don't need to buy one.
Right.
Go buy a Toyota, man.
Right.
Quit complaining. It doesn't get good.
This is to haul heavy stuff and tow your RV.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right?
Yeah,
That's what it's
and hang some, fake balls off the trailer hitch.
Well, that,
So, compensation packages, man.
All right. So jumping around a little bit here, but still on the topic
My
of
name is Richard. I'm a big man.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
Nissan continues to be in trouble. Battery plant, full red alert. They had how much was this? It was in the billions?
Yes, it was.
1 billion plus EV battery plant that just got scrapped in Japan.
Yep.
And so they got approval to build it by Japan's Ministry of Trade. And that was last September. And they were going to make the batteries there for a lot of the smaller EVs that Nissan makes. And they just went, hold up, not doing it. This continues to be a real bad situation for Nissan. And they are telling everybody things are fine.
Yeah. And in fact, I just see them dying on the vine, man.
And they're literally on fire, running around telling people there's nothing to see here.
Yep. When there really is, man.
Right.
They got some problems. They got some serious problems. But that technology was the LFP, which was the liquid iron phosphorus, right?
Yeah.
and that's a different technology. It's the same premise, obviously. It's just a different. You got so many versions of these batteries out there. At some point, somebody's going to crack that nut on figuring out which one is the best solution for the vehicle's long life, range, and less harm to the planet.
People forget, like, that Leaf was a game changer.
I think so.
It really made people open to the concept that a mainstream auto manufacturer could make a purpose-built electric vehicle and it would be reliable.
Yeah.
And it was small, but it wasn't like, you could cram 4 people in it. And so, if not for that Leaf, would I feel like it kind of loosened the lid on the jar.
I'm with you on that.
Because the Prius at that point were still hybrid when the Leaf came out.
Mm-hmm.
And and then they just kind of lost their way, right? Well, I mean, you got Carlos Ghosn and the whole fiasco with his embezzlement and all that, but
flying back on the suitcase.
Yeah, right. So there's a cello case.
Was it a cello case?
Yeah. So this dumpster fire is not done by any means. This is just another chapter in the Nissan dumpster fire situation, and I'm sad to see it.
Well, as of the 12th of May, let's just put this out here, and this is sad for Nissan. Nissan slashed around 20,000 jobs in Japan and other overseas markets, or about 15% of its workforce. Period. They estimated it is more than double the 9,000 Nissan had previously announced. Last year, in 2024, Nissan had over 133,000 employees. That's way down. The company is also planning to close a plant in Thailand. 2 other plants are reportedly being shut down. Of course, Nissan has not confirmed that those will be shut down.
Well, of course not, right? Yeah.
It's a developing story. But at the end of the day, their state of affairs, both financially and overall just loss of market share, is really, really plaguing them right now. They're having a hard time
so much
surviving
of that
in such a competitive market.
I feel like quality is a factor in that, right?
Big time. Well, here's the thing. Innovation is too, right? Innovation is also a big factor in that. And that's the one thing that you and I both have agreed upon when we talk about Nissan is the fact that their lack of innovation. I mean, how long did it take them to go to the next generation frontier? And even when they did that, I looked at it and I'm like, well,
it's just okay.
It's just okay.
Yeah.
There's nothing.
The Titan hasn't
still a quality pickup truck, right?
I've reviewed it. It's on our channel. Go check it out. It's fine.
Right.
I'm not going to spend, if dollar for dollar, I would buy a Tacoma, right?
Well, absolutely.
I mean, it's
only like one of the best selling pickup trucks in the world. In my opinion.
But it's fine, right? Like if you just, whatever.
F-150 is no longer the number one selling pickup truck.
All right. Okay. It is now what? The Tacoma?
It is the Tacoma.
Wow.
My understanding.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay.
Crazy, right?
Yeah, that's nuts.
In fact, we're going to go real live. I'm going to go ask.
In the world or in the United States?
Well, let's go find out. Number one.
Do you need
I need
Jay doing his Google sleuthing.
now in the world. Okay. Number one selling. Hey, I got a video here. Jeez. Top 7 best-selling pickup trucks in the world in 2025.
Okay.
Let me go there. Let's see what the.
But really, we're not going to have that. It needs to be 2024, right?
I think so. Yeah. Let me get past this here. Let's see what it is.
My Google says
Ford F-Series.
Yeah.
Toyota Hilux, Ram 1500, Chevy Silverado, Nissan.
Full size.
Yeah.
Full size.
Nissan Navara, Isuzu D-Max, which is Duramax 2025. That's global.
Right.
All right. So let's see. Number one pickup truck in the U.S. Hey, I stand corrected. I had heard that Toyota was tipping into that, but it does say still the Ford F-Series is the most popular truck and best-selling truck in the U.S. It's been that way for nearly half a century. In 2025, the Ford F-Series reaches an amazing 49-year streak as the most popular truck in America. Its reign as the most popular truck began in 1977.
Yeah, but there's an asterisk there.
Yeah.
And I've known about this for a while. It's the way that they report the Chevy Silverado and the GMC full-size truck, which is, I think, the Sierra, are reported separately, and they're essentially the same truck made by the same people in the same factory.
I got you.
But they track those separately. So the Silverado, this was 2024, 542,000. This is U.S. sales, 542, 517, so 542,517.
Yeah, pretty good.
And the GMC Sierra, 340,946. So that's roughly 900,000.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
The Ford F-Series, 732,139. So if you combine both the GM trucks, you get GM sells more.
Yep. And Toyota's, and again, you can't, this is not apple to apple here.
Right.
Because the Tacoma is a mid-sized pickup truck, but it is right on the heels.
Yeah. It's a popular
coming in
truck
at nearly
sure.
200,000.
Yeah.
And this is in 2024. So yeah, it's a very popular truck. So it'd be interesting to see at the end of 2025 where Toyota stands, because with the new platform and the redesign, that thing is amazing, man.
Now, let's do this one next, and we'll do the other one last.
Okay.
What's the best-selling car in the U.S.?
Ooh, good question. I'm going to go with Camry.
Isn't it the RAV4?
SUV in its class, SUV.
SUV. Okay.
Yes,
What's the best-selling SUV in the U.S.?
I think the RAV4.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, Toyota came out with the new one.
2026 was just revealed, man. And there's, I want to say, 6th generation of this thing. And it looks pretty amazing, man. I was pretty cool, pretty amazed at some of the stuff that they put into this thing for the price class, right? It's right there with the Hondas and all that stuff. Let's see. And they went hybrid only on, let's see here. 2026 Toyota RAV4 goes hybrid only, and the PHEV now packs 320 horsepower.
Which they needed, because I've talked to so many previous generation RAV4 owners, and they're so that they all feel like, they all tell me the same thing, that it's underpowered.
Mm-hmm.
That you get on the interstate and you hang out in that 70 to 75 mile an hour cruise control, and the thing is constantly just working its ass off.
Right.
Now,
Car and Driver wrote this article.
Okay.
And I got to tell you something. I can appreciate the way they put this together, by the way.
All right.
So they lean into this story with, if you've ever wondered whether or not hybrids have entered the mainstream yet, perhaps this could be a tipping point.
Okay.
For 2026, the Toyota RAV4, which happens to be the best-selling SUV in America, is going hybrid only.
Okay.
How about that? And what did we say? While you've got all these other manufacturers looking at EV, Toyota's all in on hybrids, man. Just everything hybrid.
Because it's still the most economical and efficient. And that's the number one selling point of that vehicle.
Again,
is they want return for their dollar, right?
Well, you think about it. Again,
that's why you bought one. Oh no, wait, you bought a Honda.
Right, I did. But it's not a hybrid.
That's fair point. Yeah.
Okay. So I will say this, that we have, Nissan came out with what they said was the most thermal efficient internal combustion engine This has been a few years back.
Yep.
But
Something like 50%, right?
Correct. But it was solely developed for power gen for hybrid vehicles or electric vehicles, right? And so here's Toyota sitting back going, guess what? We got this technology figured out, and they do. If you want to make an impact to the environment, an immediate impact to your wallet, to the environment in the long term, hybrid vehicles, man.
Yeah.
And Toyota's known that. Because essentially it's an electric vehicle until you need to use the gas engine.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Period.
And they're putting a GR suspension
and
a wing.
Yeah. That's on the, what's the other one? It's a specific model, man.
It's the Prime.
Yeah, I had it here. It's, where you at?
It's from Gazoo Racing.
Yeah, it's the RAV4 GR Sport.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, they'll sell some of those.
Tune suspension.
That's the soccer dad that doesn't want to feel like he's driving a minivan, but wants something a little fun.
I'd have it.
Yeah.
What'd you say? Toyota Gazoo Racing, right?
Yeah. That's gonna get you. That's gonna get you upgraded to a date with a librarian over like a grocery store clerk, right?
Hell yeah, man. Hell yeah.
You're gonna up your game. You go with the GR Sport, right?
Man, I'm unbuttoning the shirt and putting on an extra chain, man, for that. Oh.
Man, the clips and drops that I get out of this podcast.
So look, the GR4 or GR Sport that Keith is talking about comes with all-wheel drive. Like all of their plug-in hybrids.
I'll put a picture.
Yeah, go ahead. Toyota says details on any modifications to the drive system compared to a normal RAV4 PHEV will need to wait for a later date. All electric range for the PHEV
It's just going to kick ass.
Yes, it will.
Look, they've even got, it's at a soccer field right there. Did I not call this?
Yeah, you did. 50 miles of range on the thing. Though they wouldn't be surprised to hear if the GR Sport falls slightly below that due to the aerodynamic and big wheel sticky tire reasons.
I got to ask.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yeah.
For you guys listening to this and watching this, if you're watching it on YouTube, it's going to be easier. You can just type this in the comments. I would love to know, of those of you that like Toyotas or you would buy a Toyota. Toyota's current generation design style is very boxy on the nose. On the front end, they're all real square.
You're absolutely correct.
How do you all feel about that as compared to what other automakers are doing with their design styles? Because that's very different. It's nobody else doing that like Toyota does it. And B, compared to previous generations of Toyota, it's almost like going from a front-engine Corvette to a mid-engine Corvette. I have a feeling that this is a polarizing topic. That's why I wanted to ask. Like, I would just love to hear what people think. Are you a fan of the big, beefy front ends or not?
Yeah.
Right?
Get it out there. Leave a comment. I don't mind them myself. Everybody's doing them.
Yeah. So
your ability to sweep up and eat birds as you drive down the highway are pretty good.
Right. Exactly. All right. So last thing here on the way out the door. It's not a car story. It's an important story. It's an American story. For those of you not here in the United States or in any of the Americas, which is technically the Western Hemisphere, I feel like it's global enough.
I think so. Everybody knows.
So, I'm a big baseball fan. If you didn't know that, welcome to your first episode of the show.
Right.
Right. Like this is common knowledge for many of you. As we're recording this a few days earlier, Major League Baseball lifted the lifetime ban on several players, including Pete Rose. Shoeless Joe Jackson was the other one. If you've seen Field of Dreams, the Black Sox, the Chicago Black Sox scandal way back, like a century ago, these guys basically collaborated in a World Series to throw the series. They intentionally lost it.
Yeah.
And there was
That's
money
not
involved,
cool.
right? Yeah.
Not cool.
So they had a Shoeless Joe Jackson, and some others on that team, not just him, had a lifetime ban that got lifted, as well as Pete Rose. And Pete Rose passed like a little less than a year ago.
Correct.
Right?
Correct. And sadly, the Shoeless Joe Jackson situation, that whole episode, I feel that Pete got the wrong end of the stick there, because he didn't actually do what those guys did. He just simply bet on the game as a manager, not a player. He was a player manager. Is that right? At the time?
He was. And the argument has always been that his stats are his stats, and he earned those stats, and you can't really take away. You can disapprove of the behavior, but that is separate from. And here's the examples that people use: Mark McGwire, Barry Bonds. They were allegedly, can't believe I still have to say that, enhancing their performance to get to the numbers that they got to.
Correct.
There is no argument that Pete Rose got to the numbers that he got to on his own without any performance enhancement.
Charlie Hustle, man.
Right. So, yeah, I'm not cool with some of the. He was kind of an asshole. Like I'm not saying that he was a great dude, but you got to give him what he's got, what he had, what he gave to the game of baseball was everything. Right.
And unfortunately, some poor decisions on his behalf. Which was a terrible gambling habit that he had, put him in.
Have you seen the documentary on Max? It's really good.
I haven't seen it yet. I want to. I've been kind of
I watched
saving
it like a month before he died. And
wow, I didn't realize.
Pete Rose and the matter of Charlie Hustle. They like literally treat them as two different people.
I actually have an autographed picture of him. I think you've seen.
Please tell me it says I'm sorry I bet on baseball, because he signs
baseballs that way.
Yeah.
But this one it was before he admitted. It was in it was in 2000s when he actually admitted that he did.
Okay, yeah, right.
So he got caught, was it late 80s?
Yes.
Mid-late 80s, right?
Yep. So everybody says now this is essentially going to go to the board of, because remember, the Hall of Fame is a separate entity than Major League Baseball.
Right.
So the Hall of Fame board, there is a legacy board. It's different than the current living players that they vote on bringing these people in. That will be up for vote. But it kind of pisses me off that the fact that they did it literally within a year of his death, less than a year of his death, says they were just waiting for him to die.
Pretty much. And they were, because they knew of what's in place, right? For example, he can't even become eligible for vote until 3 years after, or 3 years into, because they vote every whatever.
They don't vote as frequently as the living players that recently retired.
And there is a statute of limitations, if you will, in place that does not allow him to be eligible for that. So it's probably going to be at the earliest before he even gets mentioned in the voting process, 2028 at the earliest. I think 2027, 2028, I think is what it is for the next one. So, but I do think that he will eventually end up in the Hall of Fame, and rightfully so. I think he should. And you're right. Your analogy and your comparison to Barry Bonds, and Mark McGwire, completely different. Than what you have here. You cannot take the numbers away from this guy. He was not juicing. He didn't garner the name Charlie Hustle for nothing.
Right.
I mean, this guy would strike out and still run to first base, man.
Yeah, right.
And I love that about him, because he loved the game. He absolutely loved the game. He gave it his all. And unfortunately, a bad decision got him in the end, and it's too bad. But I hate it that he is not alive to see it.
That part kind of rubs.
It really bugs me, because I really like Pete Rose, but at least his family is around to see it, and they have that. To live, that legacy to live on.
So there was a big celebration in Cincinnati. I think it was a week ago, the Pete Rose Day. I don't know. I think they do it on the 14th of May.
Yes, I think so. You want a little known
number 14? Yeah, hit me.
You want a little known secret about me?
You go to this?
No.
Okay.
I have refused to go to the Baseball Hall of Fame
Okay. Why?
because of Pete Rose not being in
Wow.
it.
Okay. So it potentially.
If he
Yeah.
gets into the Hall of Fame,
Okay.
I will go to the Hall of Fame
Okay.
for my first time.
All right. Cool. Yeah. Maybe we
Yep.
do it together.
I would love to do that.
I've never been. Believe it or not,
Yeah.
never been.
I've wanted to go, and I've had the opportunity to go many times, but I'm like,
Cooper's-
not doing it.
Yeah, just New York in general. I try to avoid. Not that I hate
Yeah.
New Yorkers.
Yeah.
It's just not a favorite area of mine to travel
Yeah,
to.
I get it.
It's a pain.
But I just still I feel that there were better ways to handle this with him still alive.
Yeah.
They basically turned their back on him. He didn't turn his back on baseball.
Oh, in fact,
He's still
his last day alive, he was
Yep.
here actually in Franklin.
Right. I remember you telling me that.
And signing autographs
Yep.
and doing the whole fan thing.
Always advocating
Yeah.
baseball and never talking poorly about it.
I loved watching him, and this was about a decade ago now, when he would be on the national feeds for the big broadcast games, whether it was Fox or CBS or whoever it was.
Yeah.
He would be one of their in studio.
Mhm.
And he'd always just break down like different elements of the game. It was so entertaining,
Right.
So yeah, my prediction: first time on the ballot, first time.
I think
in.
so.
I just
No brainer.
yeah, like
If I'm sitting on that voting board,
yeah.
I'm voting him in.
And baseball is in a little bit of a dip lately, so
They need it.
that's not something they want to stir up.
No.
Too many people.
Yeah.
I think the number of people that are for it outnumber the people against him being there.
Correct. And most of the people that were against it are dead anyway.
Yeah,
so.
well, and guys, leave us a comment on that if you disagree. I mean,
I don't think anybody.
Yeah.
If you do disagree, that's your choice. But that's
Right.
everybody has their opinion. But
yeah, what's the old saying?
just
Let's not. Yeah.
let's not go there. But I just think that he definitely, for me, was one of my favorite players as a kid growing up. Watching him play, when you watch an athlete give everything they have
Yep.
because of the love of the game, the sport,
Yeah.
it's an amazing thing.
Yeah,
to
he
watch.
loved doing it for
Yep.
sure.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah.
So, anyway, gosh, man, is it that time again?
We're there. We're there, dude.
Wow.
We're there.
Wow.
It's another one in the can.
Well, gosh, guys, we can't thank you enough for listening today. We appreciate it. And remember what we always say, every little bit helps us, and really how to help us is to go to any of our platforms and subscribe. We're on every major podcasting platform out there. If you're listening to a podcast, we're on that platform, guarantee you. We're also on YouTube. We have a video of this podcast that we release simultaneously. What helps us, which is free to you, doesn't cost you a dime, but it helps us tremendously, is a like, a share, a subscription, any
Tell
of
a
that.
friend,
Tell a friend. Just
especially on the audio podcast side.
Absolutely. And the other way you can help us out, if you have a little bit of, you're shopping for some of the stuff from our brand partners, just make sure that if you do that, you take a minute to go to our website, which is partscounterguru.com, and you're going to click on show specials, and you see all of our brand partners there. And you can also watch many of the videos out there on our product reviews, where we will also link in or give you a link to link into that product range, along with the code that might be listed.
I'm on Amazon right now looking at Pete Rose autographed baseballs.
There
you go. Go click on our Amazon link and go buy you one. And
There you
there's
go.
literally one here that says, "I'm sorry, I bet on
I
baseball."
love it, man. I love it.
I remember in the documentary, he went, "Yeah, I don't know why people love that one." I was like, "Really?" Because the irony, man.
Yeah, it is. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for listening to us. We really appreciate it. We'll be back again soon. The world of the automotive industry never ends. It never sleeps. It never will. So we will always have information available to you. We know we're not the only people out there that you might want to listen to. We appreciate that fact. We love our competition and respect that as well. But just know that from us, you're probably going to get a different perspective. We try to make it
It's
as
better
entertaining as possible. I think so as well. It's a lot more fun. So you never know what we're going to get into. So Anyway, take it away, pal.
So I used up my my Pete Rose quote like a few podcasts back because I didn't know. I
remember that.
Yeah, I didn't know this was going to happen. Right.
Who
so
knew, right?
yeah. So I was like, all right, well, how do I tie this in? So guy by the name of Napoleon Hill said, and I feel like this is so fitting of Pete Rose, a guy who, if you ever watched him hit, horrible batting stance, right? Totally bent over.
Yeah.
Didn't hit a lot of home runs because of that, right? But was just great at putting the ball in play.
Absolutely.
Right? So Napoleon Hill said,
yes.
if you cannot do great things, do small things in a great way. And I feel like that was the example that Pete Rose laid out there. Showed up every day. He got hits. He did it for year over year after year after year. And he was never the home run king. He was never the big number guy, but he got more hits. He was that guy, right? And in the end, it's that willingness to just run the long race, I think, that makes so many people respect him. So there you go. That's the quote for the podcast. From my pal Jay over there, I'm Keith, and we will see you on the next one. Take care, everybody.